Alright, we're back. It is court time. Court time. That there. Beautiful. Alright, cool. Now let's get this up. Okay, good to go. Desktop audio off. Join that and okay. Let's do it. Trial time. Just gonna finish this episode. Then we'll be done for the day. Huff, huff. How did I get into this mess? That's far enough. You can't run forever, Mr. Phoenix Wright. His dream. What have I done wrong? I can't allow you to go on like this. But I'm just a simple defense attorney. Silence. You are no longer worthy of your title. Crazy. As if this day was written into my destiny. Today I'll stand in court as a lawyer to prove a killer innocent. Hello, this is Phoenix Wright. You don't look so well, dude. You're gonna prove me not guilty today, right? Hello. If you please, Mr. Lawyer. Remember, it's not just me, your precious friend's life is riding on today's verdict, too. We gotta get a guilty sentence. Phoenix. Maya, how's Maya? I don't know. You don't know? She hasn't tried to channel me since yesterday. Mia, what? What am I supposed to do? Well, like I said, for a lawyer, the worst of times are when you have to force your biggest smiles. You can't give up, there's still some hope left. Stop it, please. There's nothing left, not here, not anywhere. Will you leave me alone? Look, don't call me anymore, I mean it. You're really mean, pal. Gumshoe, I'm really sorry. Where are you? They let me join the investigation team. We're chasing after the killer, pal. Then you have some sort of lead. Sorry, but right now we've got 0 leads on the guy. But we're not going to give up. Gumshoe. Until the trial is over, until the verdict is handed down, we're going to do everything we can to find the killer. If we can get Maya out, then you can get on guard the guilty verdict he deserves, pal. It's true. You got that? So you have to do whatever you can to make the trial last longer. Okay. If you go at Mr. Edgeworth with everything you've got, then you two can draw it out. I believe in you, pal. You and Mr. Edgeworth can do it. Believe in us. We're going to give it our all. Just like you. Got it. Thanks, Gumshoe. It's beautiful. Hey, Phoenix. You understand now, don't you? You have something money will never be able to buy. Friendship. It's the strongest weapon in the world, and you have it in abundance. Yeah. Alright. Gotta make the trial last long. Court is now in session for the trial of Matt on guard. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor. Now, as I recall, we concluded yesterday's session with a big mystery on our hands. The mystery being, what exactly was Miss Adrian Andrews' role in this murder? That is to say, is she really connected to the crime itself? Mr. Edgeworth, if you would please inform the court of today's proceedings. Adrian Andrews. She forged evidence that threw suspicion onto Mr. On Guard, and then proceeded to escape the crime scene by wearing nickel samurai costume. The guilt of these actions are those from which she cannot escape. Then you're saying that she is guilty after all. I'm not finished, Your Honor. Miss Andrews has nothing to do with committing the actual murder. I would like to direct the court's attention to this card. What is that? It looks like a shell. This is the calling card of a certain assassin. Yes, Juan Corrida was killed by a professional assassin. And the person who hired the assassin, his client, so to speak, is Matt On Guard. What a surprising turn of events. I would think it's become commonplace by now, Your Honor. I know what's going on this time, so I know that everything Edgeworth has said is true. But we still have to hold out as long as we can. At least until Maya's safe and sound. I wonder how the trial will turn out today. Okay. Now then, please call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth. Prosecution calls the defendant's mentor, Mr. Will Powers, to the stand. True, they were gonna pull this guy. Forgot. Now then, witness, your name and occupation, please. Oh, okay. I'm Will Powers. I'm a poor, underpaid action star. And what is your relation to the defendant? Well, I guess I'm sort of a lousy mentor to him in a way, yeah. Mr. Powers, please, you don't need to put yourself down so much. He likes to... likes to bring himself down. Oh, sorry. Well, but I'm just kind of a nothing sort of guy. Self-deprecating humor, huh? On the night of the murder, you visited the defendant's room. Is this correct? Yes. But you know, I didn't actually get to see Matt when I went. All you need to do is answer what you're asked. Now then, I would like you to testify about when you went to Mr. On Guard's room. Okay, sure. After the award ceremony, I went by myself to Matt's room. Matt was standing there in front of his room, still in his nickel samurai costume. He was talking with someone. At first I thought it was the bellboy. I watched the two of them for a while, but then I gave up and went back. I had guests with me that night, and I couldn't make them wait for me. Nothing sounds out of place in Mr. Powers' testimony. If one assumes that the person Mr. On Guard was speaking with was an ordinary bellboy, what do you imply? Well, Mr. Wright, let's have your cross-examination, shall we? Looks like we're in another sticky situation. But for us to find out more, we're just going to have to charge in head first, right? It's true. The defendant's room? Why did you go there?
Well, I'm his mentor, like a big brother sort of, and I wanted to say congrats.
What's wrong? Why did you stop?
Mr. Wright,
What is it?
you're going to try to trick me into a corner, aren't you? Huh? I know I'm just a poor underpaid action star, but I'm not the killer.
No one said you were, Mr. Powers.
No, please, don't trick me. Every time you do your lawyer thing, the witness suddenly turns into the bad guy.
Not always, not always. Only when they are the bad guy. Please kindly cooperate and continue with your testimony.
Sorry.
Matt was standing there in front of his room. Are you sure that was Matt on guard?
Yeah, I'm sure. He wasn't wearing the nickel samurai cut mask then.
If that's the case, you can't really be mistaken. What was the defendant doing standing in front of his own room? The bellboy. At first, what do you mean by that?
Well, he was in a bellboyish uniform and he had a bottle of juice on the tray.
Sounds like an ordinary bellboy to me.
Yeah, but I didn't think he was a normal bellboy.
And why was that?
Why did I think that, Mr. Wright?
How am I supposed to know? Can't remember, huh? You saw the two of them, the bellboy and the defendant together, correct?
Yeah, the bellboy just wanted to say congrats.
Now, while you were watching the two of them, did you notice anything strange?
I did feel something weird. I think it was because Matt, well, he gave the bellboy a tip.
A tip? Is that not normal? Okay. So who are these guests you're talking about?
You guys, of course. You and Maya and Little Pearl. I thought it would be really rude since I invited you guys if I disappeared on you. So I went back to my seat pretty soon after seeing Matt in the hallway.
Okay. I ended up focusing on her, yeah. In any case, from his story, he probably wasn't gone for very long. Okay. What am I supposed to find a contradiction? I don't know. What a contradiction. I don't know what to do. Was he gone for very long? That's the hint they're giving us. Guess it's close. Did he see the wine glass? It was on the thing. So like that would help. But since we gotta drag it out, that's not exactly what our goal is. Our goal... A50... The autopsy report, 8:15, could that be it? What? But I pressed on every statement. Watched the two of them for a while. Saw them together. Notice anything strange. Give a big tip. Not more than a minute or two. Nickel costume. Yeah, he wasn't wearing his mask. What was he doing standing in front of his own room? He gave him a tip. Doesn't make any sense. Okay, we got that. This is when he thinks he's getting into a trap. Huh. Oh, I don't think I pressed on this one. I kept skipping. Bellboy. And then it... Oh. I did feel something weird. What? Why is it different now? Could it be that you felt something strange about the tip-giving incident itself? Yeah, that's it. You really know your job. I don't know why it's different now. This bellboy wasn't an ordinary one, was he? Perhaps we should let the witness tell us. Bellboy tip. Now we press on this one, obviously. So what's so strange about that? Ah, well, you see, Matt's not a poor penny pincher like me. I was trying to figure out how much it was because the tip really shocked me. How much was it? But that's when something even more surprising happened. The bellboy was putting the tip he got in his pocket. And that's when I got my first good look at the guy's face. I was really shocked. I'm afraid I don't follow. Probably the bellboy's face. What was so shocking about the face? Well, he wasn't exactly a boy, more like an old gramps. In the smack middle of the guy's face, there was a line of stitches. Yeah, and it went straight from the tippy top of his head to the bottom of his chin. It was him. The butler. Nothing, Your Honor. So that means on guard was talking with the killer then. Yeah, we can't get in. What did you just say, Your Honor? Nothing, Mr. Wright, nothing. We're just going to go around in circles. Okay, I guess we gotta do the tip thing. Okay, his face. Gotta do the tip then. The defendant is a huge star. He can afford to give generous tips, wouldn't you agree? Sure. But giving him that much was maybe a little too much, I think. Would you please clarify for the court about how much you would say the defendant gave to the bellboy? Honestly, I don't know. I can't even begin to guess. And why's that? Because he gave the bellboy a really, really fat roll of cash. Ooh. If we know anything about rolls of cash, they're suspicious. A very fat roll of cash that can be hardly called a tip, Your Honor. Gotta raise an objection. Let it go on longer. The defendant is a superstar. That kind of tip is typical fare for people like him. Are you saying that all superstars are super spenders? If I could receive large rolls of cash by simply bringing people things on trays, then why on earth would I stand around here prosecuting? Good point. Good point. I don't even get paid, let alone rolls of cash for all my hard work. Yeah, Phoenix needs to pick up some rich clients, even though he has one right now. So supposing that roll of cash was not a tip, then what was it? Payment, Your Honor. Payment? Isn't it obvious for the murder of Juan Corrida? Then the bellboy the witness saw, yes, he was the assassin. Gasp. Hold your horses now, Mr. Edgeworth. You don't have any proof of this, do you? Have I ever been unprepared to support my claims, Your Honor? I have here the card Shelley DeKiller left at the scene of the crime. Shelley DeKiller. He is the person the police's special investigations team has been chasing for ages. I am certain that the person the witness saw was this very assassin, Shelley DeKiller. Really? What's wrong, Mr. Powers? Oh.
Actually, I saw that bellboy again later on that night.
What? Mr. Powers, please testify. Tell us what you saw.
Yes, sir, right away.
Okay. Second testimony?
This time I was in that hallway because I had to go to the bathroom. And that's when the bellboy I saw earlier came out of the room. Of course, when I say room, I mean Juan Corrida's room. Now that I think about it, that bellboy did seem kind of out of place. Yeah, so he had to be the assassin, I'm sure of it. I mean...
Thank you very much. That's all we need for now. Huh?
But I'm not done. There's still more.
Let us first establish that the bellboy was truly Mr. DeKiller, then we shall see. So the bellboy came out of the victim's room. And if that bellboy really was the assassin, then I think the answer is fairly obvious. That would be correct, Your Honor. Good morning, William. Well, Mr. Wright, I believe it's your turn to enlighten and make us laugh. We're on the final days of trial. We're drawing things out. Had to go to the bathroom. And what time was it?
Well, I don't remember. The award ceremony ended at around 8 p.m., right? And I went to Matt's room pretty soon after that. And then I came back. And then I went to the bathroom. So I guess maybe it was around 8:10 p.m. by that time?
You're not one for details, are you, Mr. Powers?
Sorry. I thought I could maybe catch Matt and say my congrats.
Alright. That's when the bellboy came out of the room. Are you sure it was the same bellboy?
Yeah.
And how could you tell? All the bellboys wear the same uniform after all.
But you see, well, he had those stitches in his face.
True.
So I was sure it's the same guy that I was talking with, Matt.
So which room did the bellboy come out of? There's been some shocking developments in this case. The victim's room, huh?
Yeah, the one with all the really pretty flowers and teddy bears. It was Juan's room, alright.
Let's continue with the testimony, shall we? I think there's a fifth case, an expansion case, that was added on for the trilogy, or something. This is the final one of the original 4, yeah. So what exactly was so out of place about him? Right. Why the insipid grin? Maybe because I have no idea what damaging thing he's going to say next.
Well, the bellboy was empty-handed.
Empty-handed?
That bellboy was one of those room service people, right? But he wasn't pushing a cart and he wasn't holding a tray either. You'd call that a little strange too, wouldn't you?
Try to pull a fast one. There is nothing strange or unusual about an empty-handed bellboy.
But there really is.
There really isn't. Bellboys are for room service. There's no reason for them to be empty-handed ever. Your Honor, I ask that the witness's previous statement be supplanted with this new one. I see very well. This court recognizes and grants the prosecution's request. Mr. Powers, if you could please amend your testimony. So you're saying that it's suspicious for him to be empty-handed?
Yeah, really suspicious. I mean, when I first saw that bellboy, he was holding a tray in his hand. And there was a bottle of juice and a wine glass on it.
Juice? What kind of juice was it?
Oh, I'm pretty sure it was tomato juice.
There it is. Hello. I like Ace Attorney 1 better. I think the storylines were much cooler. I think they're going, I don't know, a little too wackadoo in these ones. There's just like a lot of twists and turns that don't really make a lot of sense. And like right now we're just trying to drag a court case out. So like solving the puzzles is not as interesting as, you know, trying to get our friend not guilty. So that's why I like the first one better, because it was a lot of just classic trying to get our client not guilty and unravel a puzzle in a cool story. But I do enjoy Francisco von Karma in this JFA. But I think I prefer Ace Attorney 1. For sure. If we could come up with some sort of reason as to why he would come out empty-handed, some sort of proof, then I think we can dodge the bullet on this one for now. Proof, huh? Okay, so that means we need to present... Well, the juice was in here, so it's all there, so that's why he'd come out empty-handed, obviously. Objection! Some of the new music? I find the music relatively the same. You're easily influenced by other people's words, aren't you? But yeah, the first one definitely was a classic. I don't know, I liked everything about the first one. It was one of my favorite games. So this is just slightly less. I think it's still really good. There's good stories. It's just slightly less than Ace Attorney 1. As soon as you've heard that the bellboy might have been the killer, you got caught up in believing it must be true.
But isn't he really suspicious? He's got all those stitches and
Stitches are suspicious. So, a baseball has stitches. Are you saying? Oh, come on, Phoenix. That doesn't make any sense. I'm playing through the trilogy for the first time, so I played the first one, and then I've only played these two. And then I'm gonna play the third one sometime this year, after I'm done the second one.
Well, there's also, I mean, what about him being empty-handed?
I would like to ask the court to please take a look here. This is the crime scene. There's a wine glass sitting next to Corrida's body. The liquid inside this glass is tomato juice. And now, if you would look at what is on the top of the table in the lower right corner here, anyone can clearly see that it is a tray with a bottle of tomato juice on it. The bellboy had just brought this to Mr. Corrida's room. He left the tray in the room, which is why he was empty-handed when he left. Yeah, I'm multicasting, William, on Twitch as well. But that would mean that the bellboy had seen and left a dead body in the room. Ah, but you can prove that Mr. Corrida was Can you prove that Mr. Corrida was dead at that time?
Mr. Edgeworth.
Yes? I blame you for leading me down this road. Oh, judge. Judge. I'm terribly sorry. Witness, isn't there one more thing you would like to share with us?
Is there?
The bellboy was empty-handed, or should I say empty-handed? I recall you had something interesting to say about about his hands.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot. That bellboy who was wearing gloves. Yeah, pitch black leather ones. All the other bellboys don't wear gloves like that, right?
Black leather gloves.
Sorry, it slipped my mind.
No, it was Edgeworth told him to shut up. So what if he had gloves? A lot of bellboys wear gloves.
Come on, Mr. Wright, that bellboy was wearing black leather ones.
So, a football is made of leather. Are you saying all footballs are suspicious because they're made of leather? Alright. You've lost me, Phoenix, you've lost me. But that man, he received a large roll of cash from the defendant. And then he was seen leaving the crime scene wearing black leather gloves. I don't think that even someone like myself can believe he was just another bellboy. It seems that we have finally come to an understanding. Now then, witness, please continue with the rest of your testimony. Oh yes, please tell us more.
Okay.
Number 3.
After leaving Juan's room, the bellboy went and knocked on Matt's door, just like that. He gave something to the person inside. Then the old guy just left, without even going into the room. After that, I went to the bathroom, and then back to my seat.
Okay. So the bellboy, after leaving the crime scene, next went to the defendant's room. Saw that by accident. I think it's safe to say that we can no longer consider this bellboy to be normal. Now that... oh, excuse me. Now then, let's get started, shall we? Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please. Yes, Your Honor. After leaving Juan's room... Is that what you saw while you were busy spying?
Excuse me? I may be a poor, underpaid action star, but even I wouldn't stoop to spying.
Well, I think the point is, where did you watch all this from?
Oh, from the door of the bathroom, with my left eye, in sort of a sneaky spy-like.
Please, does it really matter if he was doing it overt or underhandedly? What did the bellboy do next? That's all I care to know. I agree, William. I agree. 100%. He gave something to the person inside the room. I said, hold it.
Okay.
That's better. What kind of statement is that? Please elaborate and give us a few more details.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I want to know about the something. He gave something to this person?
Yeah.
And what was this something?
If I remembered what it was, I wouldn't be calling it a something, would I?
I mean, sure, yeah. This implies that something was removed from the scene of the crime. Are you sure you really can't remember, Mr. Powers?
I think it was something kind of small.
This is an incredibly crucial piece of information. Please try to remember what it was. He doesn't fucking remember, guys. Chill out. Jeez. In the meantime, let's talk about another point. Namely, what the bellboy did next.
Oh, so after he gave the person inside the room the thing.
Then the old guy just left without even going into the room. Where did this bellboy go after he left Mr. Engarde's room? He opened the door to Viola Hall.
Went in there, and who knows after that, right?
I do. After that, I went to the bathroom and then back to my seat. Did you see anything strange, suspicious, or just out of the ordinary at the time?
Oh yeah, I saw that one thing.
What?
There was this jittery alien with a ray gun. It was watching Juan's room like some sort of stalker.
We know who that is. Okay, if we press him. Maybe we ask him a different question here. Yeah, ask about the person inside. So who took this something off the bellboy?
Actually, I don't know.
What do you mean?
I'm sorry, but I only saw the person's arm.
Only an arm? Then you're saying you didn't see the person's face?
Yeah.
I would like to summarize the testimony up to this point, if you don't mind. Actually, I do mind, because you're not allowed to do that, Mr. Edgeworth, huh? The witness is giving his evidence, and that's all that we get. We don't get to hear your summary of his evidence, because he's already said it. When the bellboy left the crime scene, he immediately went to the defendant's room. There he handed a small item of some sort to the person inside. As for the person who received the item, all you could see was the person's arm.
Yes, it was just like that.
Mr. Edgeworth, is all this really that important? Of course, Your Honor. I think it is of the utmost importance. This is very leading questions given by Edgeworth. This is when whatever was removed from the crime scene was handed over to the client. Mr. Powers, please try to remember what it was the bellboy handed off.
Well, let's see. I think it was... no.
If you remember, please add it to your testimony.
Yes, sir.
Wait. Some sort of wooden statue. Okay. A statue?
Yeah, kind of looked like one, I guess. If I saw the actual thing again, I'd probably remember, you know.
I'm going to have to come up with whatever this statue thing is and show it to him. Take a chance? Well, Mr. Powers, let's continue with your testimony. Was it one of the bears? What did the bellboy do after that?
Objection!
Fuck it. It's wood. It's a bear. It's a statue.
What was the point of that pregnant...
Pause. What's a pregnant pause?
What the fuck?
Is that a saying? Can a pause be pregnant? Something significant is about to happen. Special meaning that is not immediately obvious. Okay, sure. Never heard that before. Interesting. Where did that objection come from? Well, speak up. It was me, Your Honor. I have a feeling that something bad is going to happen once I show this. Mr. Wright, if you have something to say, please spit it out. The something you saw, was it this item? Japan English, yep. No, apparently it's a saying. I looked it up.
Oh hey, that's it. That's the something. Wow, Mr. Wright, you really figured it out.
I recall we found this at Matt Unguard's mansion.
At the defendant's house?
What does this mean? It's simple, Your Honor. Shelley the killer assassinated Juan Corrida in his room. And then he stole this wooden bear from the scene of the crime. Then the bear being found at Mr. Unguard's mansion would mean...
It goes without saying, Your Honor.
Mr. Matt Unguard is the killer's client. Mr. Wright, this is a most unfortunate turn of events for you. No, it's alright, your judgment was sound.
Actually, I figured the bear would come up.
If not now, then it would have later on. Even if you hadn't shown it to the court, I'm sure your friend Edgeworth would have. I think it is clear that there is no need for us to continue this trial. No, we need to. Your Honor, a minute please. There are still a few points left that we have not fully explored. Gotta save. So we don't die. What should we... Yeah, the bear itself, what does it mean? I think it's fairly obvious that the bear itself is very questionable. The bear, Mr. Wright? This was found at Mr. Unguard's mansion. However, Mr. Ungard was arrested at night at the hotel that night. Which means that since the murder occurred, he has not had a chance to go home. Yeah, that's gonna be our end goal, but we need to drag it out first. Also, there's no way that that would have, that would be a clear violation of the client or the person's section 10 right to counsel. And the lawyer would be breaking about like 4 or 5 rules in the code of ethics. You're just supposed, when you know your client's guilty, you're just supposed to say you can't represent them because they have a right to an advocate on their team. So this is all incorrect to the standard of Canadian law. Well, I guess the Law Society of Ontario. The end goal is to get him a guilty verdict, but we gotta drag out the case first because Maya's gonna be killed if we don't. Because we gotta let Gumshoe find him. It is not possible that it was Mr. Ungard who took this bear to the mansion. Why, that's very true. We didn't consider that point, Mr. Wright. There was no way, time-wise, for the defendant to have taken this bear home.
Objection!
Oh, Edgeworth's got an answer. You haven't gotten the best of me yet, Mr. Wright. I remember it clear as day. I remember what you muttered to yourself at Unguard's mansion. You're not a witness, Edgeworth. You can't give evidence. You can't do this. Wrong. We have this area completely surrounded. There's no way for him to escape. I can't believe it, that butler, all this time, he was the killer. The killer and Ungard were working together, so to speak. And the killer was hiding at Ungard's mansion as its butler. The bear figurine was brought back to Ungard mansion by the killer himself. When it looked like he was about to be arrested, Ungard had him do so. I assume because it would have been bad had the police found it during their investigation. Well, Mr. Wright, you've been quiet for a while now. Yeah, because all of that is illegal. And get out of here. Now we definitely get a not guilty verdict. What will you do now, Mr. Wright? Do you plan to? I plan to expose a clearly shaky place in Mr. Power's testimony. There was one thing in Mr. Power's testimony that was very unclear, and that is the identity of the person who received the bear. He gave something to the person inside the room. I'm sorry, but I only saw the person's arm. As long as we don't know who it was that took the bear, we can't be sure of... Oh? What is it? If you're going to scream like that, at least give us a good reason why.
Oh yeah, sorry. Actually, so I remembered. I remembered who took the bear.
What? Really?
I mean, I only saw his arm. But, the arm. It was the Nickel Samurai's arm, I swear it.
You've got to be kidding. Are you sure of that, Mr. Powers?
Yeah, I'm sure it was the Nickel Samurai.
Well, What's-Her-Nuts was wearing the costume. Looks like you've dug your own grave yet again. So the person who took this little bear was the Nickel Samurai. And as we all know, Matt on guard is the Nickel Samurai. I agree, this proves nothing. Thanks to the defense, we've made all that clear. There's a lot of times in Phoenix Wright where they'll go, he was wearing a costume, so that means it must be him. And it's just, okay, but how do we know that it was him that was wearing the costume? We already know that Adrian Andrews was wearing the costume at some point. We now know why this bear figurine was at the defendant's mansion, as well as who it was that received the bear from the assassin in his room. Everything has become clear. You have a new witness? Everybody in this is the way that they do trial in this game is like, everybody, let's have a conversation, let's argue all the time, and then let's pretend like there's cross-examination. When in an actual court case, all that happens is Edgeworth would ask all his questions, so the testimony isn't given candidly. It's Edgeworth would ask the question and take the witness through their story, and they can only answer questions. They can kind of go off on a tangent if you ask the right question. That's part of being a good lawyer. And then I get to ask questions as Phoenix in cross-examining. So then I get to ask questions, and then Edgeworth has to shut up. He can't say anything besides an objection, but they can only object on certain grounds. So hearsay or leading questions or anything irrelevance. There's lots of different ways that they can object, but the way that this goes is I'm cross-examining, but then Edgeworth pops in with, oh, well, here's why that's wrong. But all of that's supposed to happen at the submissions at the end. Once we get all the evidence from the witnesses, then we make our legal submissions and theories of the case. And then the judge decides. The judge can ask the witness their own questions, but asking us questions, it usually doesn't happen. Oh, I misremembered. Oh, I've lied. Oh, I've proven the prosecution's theory. It's literally impossible. But if I can't prove how they started a car to move the vehicle without the keys, my client will be guilty anyway. Yep. I mean, the witness go, I misremembered, I lied, and nothing happens to their viability. Yeah, so in real court cases, credibility is a huge, huge deal. If you become not credible, and it's a case like based on all circumstantial evidence, so like a he said, she said, if you don't come across as credible, then you're screwed. You lose. If you come across as credible, then you're good. So there is no lying, and there is no misremembering. You need to be on your game, or else the judge will just go, well, I don't really believe anything they said, and I'm going to believe the opposite party for everything, and that means that all of their evidence is accepted and all of Yours is not. But in Phoenix Wright, they don't give a fuck. Oh, I lied. Oh, just please amend your testimony. It's all good. I see no reason for this trial to continue. Therefore, I will now hand down my verdict. Also, this fucking... The amount of times this judge says, I will hand down my verdict. And then the lawyers go, no, one more. That doesn't happen either. When the judge says, okay, I've heard enough, he's heard enough. That's it. As long as he's given the due process of a fair and proper trial for the defendant's rights, then they can just end it whenever the fuck they want. It's just, nope, I've heard enough. And they usually don't. They usually let the lawyers do whatever they want. But if it's going on too long, the judge just might go, yep, okay. You want to ask something, but you don't know if it's a case from this game? Well, just ask it. Oh well. That's what I'm here for. Thank you, Your Honor, for your understanding. You see, Mr. Wright, you could not win against the truth, could you? You don't know what he's handing down as a verdict. Any last objections, Mr. Wright? You said you were done, man. Well, do I? What should I do? Well, I can't hear the verdict, so... Objection! Alright. Welcome to the stream, everybody. Ask me any questions about the law that you'd like. And enjoy watching Phoenix Wright. There's only one way for me to drag this trial out. One dirty trick. Your Honor, right now we have these two reasons to believe my client is the assassin's client. Reason number one, he accepted the bear figurine from the assassin. Reason number two, that very same figurine was found at On Guard Mansion. However, it's possible that this is all the work of a certain other person. What are you saying? What I'm saying is, it's possible a different person is the killer's real client. What happens if someone impersonates a defense lawyer to throw a case? That'd be fraud. Like, it'll just be fraud. You can't practice. So in Canada, there's things called robes, and you have to wear the robes to the trial to identify yourself. And if you're not wearing robes, you can't argue. And if you steal the robes from somebody else, the judge will likely ask who you are. Everybody has an LSO number, so a Law Society of Ontario number, and they identify themselves at the bottom of every form with their LSO number. So it'd be pretty tricky to impersonate a defense lawyer. But yeah, it'd be fraud. I mean, you can technically represent yourself. You're allowed to. You're allowed to have anyone represent you in certain cases. So Superior Court of Ontario and Superior Court of Canada, you have to be a lawyer to argue anything there. Anything appeal based, you have to be a lawyer. But certain cases you can have, like small claims court, you can have literally anyone represent you. In the Ontario Court of Justice, so the base floor of the criminal court, anyone can represent you. So as long as you're not in the Superior Court, then yeah, whatever. Hire whoever you want. That's what paralegals are, basically. They're lawyers who have less education and less expertise, but they're a lot cheaper and they can represent you on a lot of things. Yes. Is this all you have? Now then, Mr. Wright, let's hear your theory. Who do you say is the killer's real client and therefore the real murderer? I mean, it has to be Adrian Andrews, we would just have to say. Has to be. Adrian Andrews? Yes. We already know that she tried to frame Matt on guard for the crime by wearing a spare nickel samurai costume. Then
The Nickel Samurai's arm that I saw.
That could have very well been Miss Andrews. But what about Mr. On Guard? The defendant was taking a nap during the break period. That's right. Then, finding this figure at Mr. On Guard's mansion, it was a well-laid trap set by Miss Andrews. Mr. Edgeworth, what's your opinion on this? This is interesting. I can't even begin to count the flaws in the defense's logic. Well, you better begin. Besides which, there is no evidence to support it. You can have anyone representing you. It'd be funny to ask. Oh, sorry. This is to save Maya. It'd be funny to ask the Prime Minister to represent you. Yeah. I doubt he'd say yes. But it does happen. Especially with how much lawyers cost now. A lot of people are starting to represent themselves. Especially in family law. Because family law lawyers are beginning to cost a lot. And those cases can get dragged out very long. So often lawyers are just unattainable for people in Ontario, at least. So a lot of people are self-representing themselves. Your Honor, for the benefit of the defense, I'm willing to play along with his what-if game. His what-if game, Mr. Edgeworth? The prosecution is prepared to challenge the defense's theory. Thank you, Edgeworth. Mr. Wright, even if you must have thought it strange and wondered, why would the criminal want this little wooden bear? He's right. The killer did specifically bring that bear to On Guard right away. Why do you ask? Is there something special about it? Absolutely. And I'm sure that once the court knows its significance, the true killer's identity will become crystal clear. Your Honor, the prosecution calls upon a witness who will clear all doubts against Miss Andrews. And who would that be? It's quite simple, Your Honor. Miss Adrian Andrews herself. Well, then the court will take a short 10-minute recess. The prosecution will prepare its witness in that time. Yes, Your Honor. Nice. We made it through half. Oh, I knew it was a good idea to hold her hostage, don't you agree, Mr. Lawyer? But I never thought in your desperation you'd try to pin the guilt onto Adrian. Would you shut the fuck up, man? Every time you speak to me, you're putting me further and further into danger. The less I know, the better. I can just do what I do. A really strong power suddenly called her away. Maya. Gumshoe. How's it going? Have you been hanging in there, pal? Yeah, sort of. That's good. And what about you? Anything yet? Have you figured out where the killer and Maya are? We still don't have any leads, but... What? We don't have any more time. If we just had one, even a single clue, would be really helpful. A tent. I could see a circus tent. It looks like Maya was unconscious until just a few minutes ago. As soon as she woke up, she called for me. So it was Maya that called you away. She's locked in a dusty little room right now. But I could see a circus tent outside the window about 300 feet away. Gumshoe, is there a circus in town right now? There's only one, pal, the very big circus. Oh, crossover episode. Maya is somewhere within a 300-foot radius of the main tent. What? Okay, hold on a sec, pal. Hey, draw a circle on that map. About a 300-foot radius from the main tent. Hurry. And I could see a mailbox under the window just outside.
Gumshoe, there's also a mailbox.
Okay, what else?
I'm sorry, but it's a very small window. I couldn't see anything else. It felt like I was in an old office building, maybe the 3rd floor or so.
I heard her. An office building. Good stuff, pal. Okay, just hang in there a little longer, pal. Wish us luck. I'll call you later, so don't let your battery die, okay, pal?
Maya's not hurt, right? She's in pretty bad state, Phoenix. She's being starved. Man, this is so crazy. Jeffrey Epstein's love triangle is gonna bust in to save Maya. I don't want to go back there. I don't want to go back to the Barry Big circus and how they were all in love with a 15-year-old and they were 25. Looks like we're out of time. Are you alright, Phoenix? I can do this. I just have to make this trial last a little bit longer. Oh, is that not the finish of trial number 1? Let us reconvene. Okay. Well, let's see. The killer, the man who murdered the victim, handed this to his client. From this, one obvious question arises: why this particular item? Now then, the prosecution calls the defendant's manager, Adrian Andrews, to the stand. Here she is again. Currently, the witness is accused of tampering and obstruction of justice. However, you have been called to the witness stand today to ascertain who exactly is guilty of murder. I understand. Very good. Now, have you ever seen this bear before, Miss Andrews? Of course I have. That's right, it's only natural the witness has. Miss Andrews, could you please enlighten the court to this bear's secrets? Alright. Alright, here we go. Andrew's testimony. Actually, this is an elaborate puzzle. Pretty good. If you know the correct order, it can be taken apart one piece at a time. And at its center is a small cavity with just enough room to store a small item. Because of its complexity, if you don't know the order, you can't open the bear. You really can't tell that it's a small jewelry box just by looking at it. I think Gumshoe did tell Edgeworth. Edgeworth knows. I think Edgeworth is trying to drag it out. They have to act so that the killer is none the wiser, you know? These guys can't know. Madame Garde can't know that he's being duped and this is just going out long, so they need to keep up their act and go long. So this figurine, it's a container of sorts, is it? Yes, looks can be deceiving, wouldn't you agree? Superb craftsmanship. Oh yes, I nearly forgot. You may begin your cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Okay. A puzzle? That's right. So what exactly kind of puzzle is it? Okay, so that gave us nothing. One piece at a time. So you can take it apart, and how would you go about doing that? Well, you first turn its tail to the right and then push it in. Oh yes, I see. After that, the arms and legs are free to move and can be removed.
What, he's got it figured out? So what do you find after you take the puzzle apart? At its center, small cavity. And how do you know about this? That's the real question.
I know because I was the one who bought it. It was a souvenir from when a friend and I went to Switzerland.
Then this was a present from you?
That's right. It was a puzzle in the shape of a bear, so I thought it would be perfect for Juan.
Witness, let's continue with your testimony. So who exactly knew how to solve this puzzle?
Only the two of us, Juan and myself. It was a souvenir from Switzerland.
I know what's gonna be inside. The suicide note.
So I doubt there are many people with the same bear in this country.
But this looks like it can be easily broken. Especially if someone wanted to get at what's inside.
Well, it's a toy, but it can never be the same again once it's been broken.
Who else knows that this bear is actually a small container or a jewelry box?
I never told anyone. And as long as Juan never told anyone either, then only the two of us knew.
The two of you, huh? Then of course that means Mr. Angard didn't know, right? I'm telling you. The suicide note's in there. That there is one very important fact we have uncovered, and that is this. This bear is actually a jewelry box. Now that we have agreed to this point, there's only one logical question that can come next, and that is, what's inside this box? That's right. That's what we are going to find out next. Witness? Yes? You are the only one who can open this. Please, do your due. What's in it?
I've opened it. Is this what you wanted?
What is that? It looks like a note. I don't think we need to guess at what that is, do we, Mr. Wright? It's the suicide note. What did I tell ya? The suicide note? The suicide note left by Juan Corrida's former manager, Celeste Impacts. Until now, no one knew of its whereabouts, but just as we suspected, it was hidden. Hidden by the victim, Juan Corrida himself. The evil man. It seems Celeste Impacts had very beautiful handwriting. Okay, Edgeworth. Settle down. Settle down. And she just as beautifully signed her own name on this document. This is most definitely the note she left right before she committed suicide. Well, let's read it. Jeez. Witness, do you know about this?
Yes, I did. I heard all about it from Juan. When I discovered his body, I looked for the bear. I wanted to destroy the note before it came public, but I couldn't find it anywhere.
Because it had already been taken by the killer. So now that the suicide note has been found, what's the next logical question? What is written on the note? That's right! At least that's what I would think. Now then, I believe it is only appropriate the contents of this note be made known.
I can't stop you, can I? I went through so much just to get my hands on it. And I was going to burn it for her sake.
I'm deeply sorry, but I can't allow you to persuade me to stop. Ah, jeez. Hello. Your Honor, if you could please read the contents of the note aloud. Very well. The judge's voice rang loud and clear through the deathly silent courtroom. In her note, Celeste Impacts left to us a record of all that had happened to her. About being used and then thrown away by Engarde. About being engaged to Corrida and Engarde's role in destroying that. And about how she decided in her despair to end it all. Damn. Damn. And that's all Miss Impacts had to say. There's one thing I would like to say here. The prosecution has no interest in slandering Mr. Engarde. Then what? Our intention, Your Honor, is to establish a motive for murder. Isn't that correct, witness? Yes. On the night of the murder, Juan was going to make the contents of the note public. After the post-ceremony show, he was going to hold a press conference. Matt Engarde values above all else his refreshing like a spring breeze image. What does that even fucking mean? This whole time they've been saying it, but I don't even know what it means. It's refreshing. What is this, like new? Or it's just like a good boy? Don't really get it, but sure. Whatever they say. Which is why he had to stop this note from being made public. At any cost. There's no room for doubt here. Mr. De Killer's client's goal was to obtain this suicide note. And the only person who needed this note that badly is the defendant. Let's not forget that the bear with the note was inside was found at the defendant's house. It seems that we have come to the truth at last. The defendant's motives were entirely selfish. Selfish. He deserves no sympathy from anyone. Yeah, I am in Canada, so I can only speak on the differences from Canada. Yeah, if there's anything that makes sense in Japanese law based on the differences, but yeah. Basically, it pretends to be an innocent cinnamon roll. Yep. Why the hesitation, Phoenix? Gumshoe hasn't called yet, so you know what you must do. Objection! Japan has an adversarial system, right? Let me look it up. It's based on civil law, influenced by European legal systems. Current system is a combination of continental and American law. So I'd guess that it's adversarial. Yeah, it is. Adversarial system. So relatively similar to Canada and the States in that way. The gavel is already in the judge's hand. Hurry, Phoenix, hurry. The 99 conviction rate, it's not true. Well, in Japan, I don't know. So if it's anything similar to Canada, so for Canada, 98% of cases are guilty pleas. So there's just enough evidence to go, all right, clearly you did it. If you just plead guilty, we'll give you a lesser sentence. So that's what they do in Canada. And then if there's not enough evidence, the prosecution will withdraw the case. So they'll just say, well, it's not worth it to go through all this because we're going to lose anyways. So you're pleading innocent and we don't have enough evidence, so go free. We're withdrawing our case. So basically, The only things that are counted in that 99% conviction rate are the guilty pleas, which is by far and away the most common thing in a court system, and then the 3% or 2% of trials that take place, about 50% of them go either way. So when there's a trial, it's about 50-50. But so the 99 conviction rate just comes from all the guilty pleas and the withdrawn sentences that don't count towards the statistics. So it's kind of a disingenuous number, but it is a 99 conviction rate. It makes sense if you think about it that way. But when things go to trial, it's not a 99%. It's probably about a 60-40. It is what I would guess in Canada. Yeah, most adversarial systems have a very, very, very high conviction rate because of that. You do not think that Japan would make this deal out of a suicide note? No, I don't think many people would make this deal out of a suicide note. I think we have to pursue the suicide note, though. Please wait, Your Honor. They're thinking we're a slimeball lawyer. I think Your Honor believes that Matt Ungard killed in order to obtain this note. Yes, that is correct. But that seems a little strange. In fact, I think there is a contradiction here. This note was hidden by Mr. Karita until the night of the murder. If that is the case, I say that Matt Ungard could not have known what was written on this note. Oh, I didn't think of it that way. Exactly, but I did think of it that way. Phoenix is the sassiest man I know. And then I thought it was rather strange. No one in their right mind would kill for a note without first knowing what it said. Order, order, order. You make a valid point, Mr. Wright. Mr. Edgeworth, what is your opinion? It was just a flash, but I think I did rather well on this one. Go Phoenix! I think he believes differently. Alright, edgy boy, what you gotta say? I believe a show of appreciation is in order. The defense seems to be in love with wishing more despair upon itself. Okay, never mind. Edgeworth is the sassiest man I know. I would like to direct this court's attention to... What is that? It is a very small video camera, Your Honor. This type of camera is commonly used as a means of spying. Matt Ungard and the victim both thought of the other as their biggest rival. They even went so far as to use this type of item to find each other's weaknesses. And the victim, Juan Corrida, was being spied on. His personal life was being watched by none other than Matt Ungard. Is it okay to jaywalk? I mean, so in Ontario, we have what's called the Highway Traffic Act. And on that, you're not allowed to jaywalk. So while it's technically against the law, all you will ever get is like a $50 fine. The maximum, I think, is like a $50 fine for jaywalking. It's not allowed. It's against the law, technically. But it's not a criminal offense, so you'll just get fined. It's like speeding. It's not a criminal offense. You'll never go to jail. You'll never have to show up in court. You could show up in traffic court if you wanted to. But yeah, most of the time, police officers will not give somebody a jaywalking offense, because that'd be ridiculous. So technically not okay, but I mean, everybody does it. You don't tell me you knew about your client's spying activities. What the fuck does it matter? I see you are confused, Mr. Wright. But this camera that I have is not that same one. Last night I searched the victim's house on a hunch, using this. By the way, Mr. Wright, the defendant's fingerprints were found on this camera. Matt Unguard's fingerprints were on there? Well, Phoenix, it looks like those cameras were hidden all over the place, huh? I think this is the end. It's fairly obvious that Mr. Ungard learned of the suicide note through this. He was watching the victim all along. The small pile of crap couldn't record, couldn't capture the note. Probably agree, in the early 2000s it's not going to be great. Who's bringing their child to a court? Did I just say mommy? The way he's sweating is gross. Have you figured out what you're going to do next? What I'm going to do next? I know it seems like Mr. Edgeworth is very close to putting the lid on this case, but in his eagerness to prove his point, he forgot one very important thing. Well, what is it, man? There is a piece of evidence that he really should investigate. I would really hate to see the good prosecutor get scolded for not remembering to look into the item when he had the chance. I don't know what she's talking about. Present evidence. Better save. That was about the weakest objection I've ever heard, Mr. Wright. Okay. Give me a stronger one. In your eagerness to prove your point, you've forgotten one very important thing. So you're telling me that I forgot something? You're so close, Mr. Edgeworth, but there's something you really should examine about this piece of evidence. The spy camera? Huh. People sat in recreationally in court. They actually still do. So I've seen lots of the public just sit in court, especially big court cases. I mean, the most extreme one is the Johnny Depp Amber Heard one, obviously. That one was nationally televised. People also sat in the first battle of the Civil War. What? That's wild. Okay. I didn't know that one. That objection is outdated. Yep, it's true. Everything is a little outdated in the Ace Attorney universe, but that's okay. Still very good. Yes, I do believe some special examination is needed, but I think the item that should be examined is the defense's gray matter. Okay. Oh, it wasn't the bear? Okay. Okay, let's save then. Okay, so something that he forgot. Not the suicide note. Not the figurine. It's not gonna be that if it's not the bear. Oh, because it was only running from 8 p.m. for 1 hour.
Take that!
Oh? No, he doesn't agree. Okay, sure. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It could be the transmits the data. Is there a photo that we haven't seen? The note? I don't know what else it could be. Transmitter, maybe. But I don't think so. I don't know. I guess the note. I guess the note. Let me see. Oh, why is it right? All right, tell me what's right. Who knows? I mean, sure, the suicide note was found inside the bear, but this bear was in my possession until only a few moments ago, which means the handwriting on the suicide note has yet to be. The handwriting? What is the handwriting on the back of this? Is it bad? So, as to whether this pivotal piece of evidence was really written by Miss Impax or not, that is yet to be even remotely confirmed. I mean, sure. Sure. Are you saying that this suicide note is a fake? Miss Andrews, you were the one who tried to pin this murder on Mr. Engard. Who's to say you didn't create a fake suicide note and put it into this bear? How dare you! Your Honor, the defense is indiscriminately accusing the witness again. There is no evidence linking the witness to the suicide note whatsoever. But if this is a fake, then the witness is the only person who could have made it. What? Recall the witness's testimony concerning this figure. The only person other than the victim who could solve the puzzle is the witness herself. Ah! And glasses break. You wrote this note, didn't you? You wrote it so that you could use it to frame Matt Engard. I did no such thing. Right, if you're going to pronounce this suicide note a fake, then show this court some evidence to support your theory. Mr. Edgeworth, you were the one to present this scrap of paper as evidence. That means the burden of proof lies with you, the prosecution. It always lies with the prosecution. The handwriting has yet to be analyzed. If that's the case, it seems that yet again we have reached a point where a verdict is impossible. Impossible. That's impossible. This isn't good, Phoenix. I don't think Maya will physically be able to make it another day. True, she is starving. I didn't want to have to do this, but I don't have a choice. I request that both the prosecution and defense further investigate handwriting analysis. Engard is guilty. Look at any idiot can tell you that. I think we've reached the end of the line. Guilty, guilty, guilty. Okay, crowd's really into it. Oh, a phone call. What's that sound? It's Gumshoe. Hello, Gumshoe? Where's Maya? What happened to the killer? He got away. I'm sorry, pal. I really am. I don't know what to say. Besides, I'm sorry. I wish there was some way to make it up to you. I really do. Anyway, what's going on? We found his hideout, pal. But the two of them were already gone. Oh my gosh. Gumshoe is incompetent. I'm going to keep looking for them, pal. Don't you worry. I just need a little more time. Don't tell me we don't. We don't have any more. Do you hear that? They're calling for his head. Mr. Wright, I can't. For us to come this far and... Oh, let me talk to Mr. Edgeworth. I can't do that. Mr. Wright, would you please get a hold of yourself? Yes, Your Honor. I am about to end today's proceedings and you may take your phone calls after. Hold on, Your Honor. Edgeworth, catch! That was the throw across the screen. That's hilarious.
Please, you've got to buy us more time.
Court is in session.
Ooh.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. You were saying? Mr. Wright, this is a court of law. I'm sorry, Your Honor, but I am reluctant to do this. However, it appears that I have no choice but to suspend proceedings until tomorrow. Court is now adjourned for the day. Is that it? Oh boy. Do I have to go investigate again? Oh no, okay. Please wait, Your Honor. What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? I humbly request another 30 minutes of Your Honor's time. For what purpose? We can perform the necessary tests on this piece of evidence in that time. But can you really obtain your results in 30 minutes? I believe we can, Your Honor. But wouldn't it be better if we just adjourn for the day and then reconvene tomorrow? 30 minutes, please, Your Honor. That is all I'm asking for. Please, Your Honor. Very well. At the prosecution's request, this court will now take a 30-minute recess. But be advised that I will not allow another recess today. Okay. The court will now take its final recess of the day. Right, well, what's going on with Maya's situation? The killer, it looks like he got away again. 30 minutes? We can't find her in that time. Oh! Report!
Is that Mr. Edgeworth?
We don't have time, just spit it out.
Right. It looks like we just missed them, sir. But the killer left a few things behind by accident in his rush to get away. Oh, I thought you'd ask, pal. I've got the things he left with me right now, and I'm on my way over. We don't have time to wait for those guys, sir. When those guys weren't looking, I swiped the stuff and ran.
What?
Well, I'm not a detective anymore, so I had to. I'm really sorry, sir, but I've got to put the law on hold for now. With my hunk-of-junk car, I'd say I'll be there in about 20 minutes, sir. Don't worry, I'll be there. Wait for me. I'm on a mission, and no one can stop me now, sir. No one. I'm pulling out all the stops and running every red light.
Okay. Was that a car crash? No one can stop me. Oh shit. What was he thinking? We've got to hurry and call for help. We have no idea where he is. Cell phone is broken and he wasn't driving a patrol car, so no radio either. Also, if we don't get to those items before they do, the police will take possession of them. No, we can't let that happen. Well, if there's a way we can find out where he is, then we stand a chance. There is a way. I'm sure we can find out where Detective Gumshoe is through this. I don't know. Ah! A radio transceiver?
Take that!
Okay. Edgeworth. What is it? I don't have any right to judge anyone ever again. But what I'm doing now, I'm putting the guilt on someone totally innocent and using the evidence to do so. It might be my turn to say, defense attorney Phoenix Wright chooses death. What? You just say he was gonna commit suicide? It doesn't suit someone like you to cry useless tears, whether you did your job well or not. That can only be seen after the verdict has been decided. The verdict. Is Prosecutor Edgeworth here? Yes, bailiff? There's a phone call for you, sir. They said it was extremely urgent. I have to go take this call. In the meantime, think hard about what you must do. To be continued. Nice. Okay, cool. I am going to go refill on water and then we will finish this trial. Okay. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Give the video a like. Alright. Chilling, we're chilling. Okay, cool. Alright. 4.2. Trial. Farewell, my turnabout. Here we go. The climax. Court will now reconvene. I assume both sides are ready. Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor. Okay, damn, Edgeworth. Chill. I can understand the defense acting like this. However, why do you also seem distraught, Mr. Edgeworth? It's nothing, Your Honor. It looks like something unexpected has just happened to him. Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, if you could please tell the court the results of the handwriting analysis on Ms. Impact's suicide note. Yes, Your Honor. Unfortunately, we have discovered that this suicide note is a forgery. What? What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? It's a fake. Okay. Mr. Edgeworth, would you care to explain what is going on? If this was not written by Miss Impacts, then who wrote it? We would need more time to do a more detailed analysis. However, it appears that the handwriting matches that of the victim, Mr. Juan Corrida. Mr. Corrida? Well, it looks like Miss Impacts never left a suicide note after all. However, Your Honor, even though the suicide note is indeed a fake, Mr. Engard could not have known that, so that fact remains unchanged. Acting under the assumption that it was real, he had plotted to possess it. Sure, it's plausible, but you have to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. Something seems wrong with it. The defense believes that the theory the prosecution has stated contradicts testimony. If everything the prosecution has proven up to this point is true, then it's impossible for Mr. Angard to have known it was not a fake because the writing on Celeste's photo. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, your response? I believe that even more important than finding out if this note is real or not is whether the attorney badge pinned to that man's chest is real. That is the million-dollar question. Yes, I agree. Oh, what? How is that wrong? Mr. Edgeworth, you had stated something earlier to the effect of the defendant had spied on Mr. Kurita's private life. I believe this would mean that he would have known about the note as well. Yes, and so naturally, this means Mr. Angard would have known that the note was a fake. Okay, sure. I thought mine was good too. See here, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. I was the one who thought of the spying thing. Jumping in and stealing my thunder like that is simply, I can't even describe it. Okay. I could have even bragged about embarrassing Mr. Edgeworth to my grandchildren had you not. For that I said... What? Uh-oh. Do I die? Alright. That is all. Ridiculous. Alright, good thing we saved, huh? This is why we save. I thought mine was fine. Why would it not be the option? He knew because he was given a picture frame with the person's handwriting on it, and it's, you know, and it's different. So he would have known it was fake. I don't know. I guess we just follow the judge's logic then by the camera transmitter. The camera. What is this little item called again? A video camera, Your Honor, but well, a very small one. Oh, that's right, a camera. Ah, you kids and your fancy toys nowadays. Mr. Edgeworth, earlier you claimed that Mr. Angard knew of the existence of this note because he was spying on the victim, isn't that right? If that were true, then this means Mr. Angard would have known that the victim had forged the note. Okay, so the judge just gave us the answer to go back and do it. So then the defendant knew the suicide note was a fake. And if that's true, then the situation has suddenly changed in a very dramatic way. Exactly, Your Honor. The prosecution's theory as to what Mr. Angard's motive for murder was, it has suddenly disappeared into thin air. But Your Honor, it's not as if Mr. Angard monitored Mr. Kurita's 24 hours a day. Perhaps the victim wrote the note in a place Mr. Angard didn't know of. Well, right back at you, Mr. Edgeworth. Why don't you show us some proof that the victim made the forgery at an unknown place? Okay. Alright. Order. It looks like this time it is you who has dug his own grave. As I figured it came down to this after all. Mr. Edgeworth, you are not making any sense. When I heard the results of the handwriting analysis, I thought this might happen. The question is, what next? It's true. Prosecution can't prove Mr. Angard's motive through the evidence, then we must prove it from another angle. Well, I agree with you there. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to call a witness to the stand at this time. However, this witness is a little unusual. What? What sort of witness is this person? Perfectly fit to answer once and for all the question of who was it that hired Shelley to kill her to commit murder? That's impossible. Who in the... No such person exists who can answer that question with such certainty. Yes, Mr. Edgeworth, who is this witness? The man himself, Mr. Shelley the Killer. They've got Mr. the Killer with them? He's coming here to the witness stand. I recognize that this is a very unusual circumstance, so I ask for your permission. Well, Mr. Wright? Yes? Is this all right with you? The defense has no objections, Your Honor. I wonder if it really is all right to do this. Calls its witness to the stand. Just fucking do it already. Jeez. What's going on? What's this playing around? Name and occupation. What? Alright. So this is actually somewhat allowed nowadays. You need to be on Zoom and you need to identify yourself, but you can actually call into court. Now, if the defense raises an objection to it, they have to allow to it. They have to consent to it. If the defense says, nope, we want them in person, then they have to show up in person. But it is allowed in special circumstances to call into court as a witness. My name is Shelley the Killer, and I am a professional assassin. What is going on here? And how can you remain so calm? And what is the meaning of this two-way radio? Actually, Your Honor, it was delivered to me just now and it came with a condition. As long as we do not trace its source, Mr. the Killer will testify to this court. Oh no, this will not do. I cannot allow this in my court. First of all, we can't even be sure this is really Mr. the Killer himself. Witness, please present some proof that you are in fact Shelley the Killer. I understand. Please wait a second. I'm so hungry. Maya! A voice. Mr. Wright, can you confirm anything from this? The defense has no objections to this person. We are satisfied that this man is indeed Shelley the Killer. It looks like we have run into yet another unexpected turn of events. Well, it doesn't seem like we have too many choices under these circumstances, so... Now then, witness. There's one thing I would like to confirm before we speak of anything else. And what would that be? At the request of a client, you killed Mr. Juan Corrida, is that correct? It is as you say. I did indeed kill Mr. Corrida. Now that we have answered that, let's move on to the name of your client. Very well. What is he going to say? There is something I must first state. To an assassin, nothing is more important than the trust between a client and himself. And that is the reason I am here today, on this witness stand. It is my wish that you grasp this concept before I give the name of my client. Mr. the Killer seems to be a very clever man. I'd almost say he seems to be mocking us. While he may appear to be our enemy, Your Honor, Mr. the Killer is only stating the truth. He is no hypocrite. He has always stood by this one belief. Well, Mr. Wright, you ready to cross-examine? Stay cool and collected. We can hear anything you have to say later. Can you please just tell us your clients? Do not think you understand your place, Mr. Attorney. I said this is something I must first state. Do you know what the word first means? To an assassin, nothing is more important than the trust between a client and himself. And that is the reason I am here today on this witness stand. Okay, well, I'm gonna press him here. I provide my services in a fast and efficient manner. In exchange, I trust that my clients are discreet about me and my identity. If too many people knew my face, it would be quite troublesome. And that is why you're testifying in this manner. This is the first time one of my clients has ever been accused of murder. I must preserve the De Killer name so my clients can trust me. But couldn't someone stab you in the back and break your trust? It has never happened before, but if it ever did, that person wouldn't be my client for very long. They would certainly... Very well. It was only a hypothetical question anyway. And that is the reason I'm here today on the witness stand. It seems a little strange to me. I mean, you're about to tell us the name of your client. I would think that this would be very bad for them. It doesn't matter to me. This client has already broken the rules and acted outside of their prescribed role. This person tried to implicate another of the crime in order to save themselves. And this is a trespass that cannot be forgiven. You who gave you the right to be so high and mighty. To the gentleman who spoke just now, excuse me, but would you care to die? Okay. It is my wish that you grasp this concept before I give the name of my client. Okay. The trust between you and your client? I provide my services. We already did this. You just said that your client had already broken the rules. Oh, okay. A person who frames another is the worst kind of human. And that is why you feel you can betray this person? I have no trust relation with a client who cannot understand their assigned role. Now then, everyone, do you think you can understand my logic? If you can't, then I'm afraid we cannot proceed. In that case, I believe I'm prepared to disclose the information you seek. Okay, go, jeez, excellent. I agree. What is it? What is the name of your client who requested the murder of Juan Corrida? That person's name is... Adrian Andrews. Crazy. Witness! That's not who you told me it was earlier. The thing that recorded the killer, yeah. I would think I will eventually. Must be. I should think I know my own client, and it is Adrian Andrews. What? This can't be on the phone earlier. My guess is that Mr. De Killer just stabbed Mr. Edgeworth in the back. I'm sure in order to get an audience with his court, Mr. De Killer told him a different name, Madame Guard perhaps. This is outrageous. I was deceived. This witness is telling a very serious lie. My testimony is the truth. The defendant at the moment is Madame Guard, am I correct? All I wish is to do is to help procure his acquittal. All of a sudden it feels like we can actually win this. Furthermore, there is a possibility the defendant himself knew it was a fake, but most definitive of all, we have heard from the assassin himself the name of his client. Mr. De Killer's client, who requested the murder, was not the defendant at all. Innocent. I seem to have caused you all a bit of confusion. Please continue your discussion and call me when you have reached a verdict. This may be our last chance to save Maya. Edgeworth is right. The killer is lying. And on guard, my client. I know he's guilty. Can I live with myself if I win this? Who would have believed that the prosecution's own witness would absolve the defendant? It wasn't me. Listen, everyone, please. That testimony just now is one big lie. The suicide note may have been a fake, but that man, Matt, he's the reason Celeste's dead. And Juan's death, it was all because he got pulled into Matt's twisted world. But Mr. the Killer himself has testified. He has named you as his client. No, it's not true. There's also quite a bit of evidence that points to you. The knife and button and donning the nickel samurai costume. But that's... You even have a motive. We know that Miss Celeste's impact was a large part of your life. You wanted to follow her and you wanted revenge against the two who hurt her. I would say you have plenty of reasons to want them both dead. Mr. Wright, you know the truth. Tell them. Tell them the real story, who the real killer is. Tell them. Please help me. Oh. Do I throw this chance away and wait for Gumshoe's new evidence? Continue the trial. I can't do it, Mia. I can't accept a not guilty. You are a lawyer. I know. But Matt on guard is a killer, a murderer. I can't let him get away with this. I can't let someone else take the fall. If I let Miss Andrews be convicted, then I am no better than on guard. And even though I don't want to admit it, I have to face the fact that it is because of Edgeworth that I now know the real truth. He could have gone on guard convicted so many times over, but he never took a single one of those chances. If I take this verdict right now, I'd be betraying his trust. I trust him. I trust Edgy Boy. The defense requests that we be allowed to further question Mr. the Killer. Am I hearing you correctly, Mr. Wright? But that witness has cleared your client through his testimony. Your job here is done. I'm not done yet. To see through witnesses' lies and find the truth. That is my job, Your Honor. And I'm sure that once those pieces arrive here in this courtroom, a miracle will occur. Mr. Edgeworth, please re-establish connection with Mr. the Killer. Has a verdict been reached? Before that, we would like to have a talk with you a little more. About? All you needed from me was the name of my client. What else could you need me for? Actually, we would like to hear everything you know about this case. That is how things are usually done. But what shall we have him testify about? Mr. the Killer, if you don't mind, please testify about your client in more detail. You legal people and your procedures. Is it any wonder no one likes to go to court? Well, no shit. Court is an unpleasant place. As I have already stated quite a few times, Adrian Andrews is my client. However, one thing I simply cannot overlook is the tampering with the scene of the crime. My client did it to frame another for the crime, while pretending to be the first person to discover the body and enter the scene. Adrian Andrews already knew from the very beginning that Juan Corrida was dead. But even more appalling is the creation and planting of the knife and button. That act is what I was referring to when I said my client had broken the rules. Okay. Finally been revealed. I'm planning on playing the third one. I don't know what it's called. Whatever's in the trilogy. Whatever the third one is. What is it called? Could the killer have cut a deal to testify in person for immunity? I mean, maybe. I doubt they would ever do that. You can get immunity and such for testifying. Yeah, it's absolutely possible. Yes, Mr. Edgeworth. We still have the cross-examination to do. The defense will question the witness. What this witness has said is nothing but beneficial to the defense's case. If you scrutinize the testimony, then I'll expose the lies. Yeah, we definitely abandoned all logic when we questioned the parrot back in the first game. That was fucking ridiculous. That makes two of us. That was crazy. Adrian enters my core. You wonder, would a parrot of the suspect being able to repeat a name of the victim the suspect wouldn't know? We're using court. I know that there was a court case where a parrot was used. In Michigan. The parrot said, "Don't fucking shoot," on the stand. So it was used as a witness. Now, take that with a grain of salt. It would only work in a jury trial. So a judge would never accept that. But you can convince a jury of a lot of things. And that's kind of the beauty of the jury system, is you just have to, it's not exactly about the law, it's about what you can make 12 people believe, really. But yeah, the parrot was actually used. Can't overlook the tampering. That Juan Corrido was dead. This is not true. Japanifornia, yeah. I've heard of Japanifornia. No, the devs did not know about it. Because I think this happened recently. Yeah, 2014. 2017. So, that only happened, this game was made in what, like 2002 or something like that? Yep, I've heard of Japanifornia. But this isn't true. We've already figured this out. Right? We already knew that she didn't know. Because of the glass? The wine glass? Or the crime photo? Definitely not impossible to see that a lawyer got creative and inspired by an Ace Attorney game. Let's try the. I'm gonna save. Let's press him here first and then see what he says. From the very beginning? That is correct. From before my client visited the room, all of my clients know precisely what the situation is at all times. That's odd. Okay. I think I'm gonna present the wine glass, because I think we established that that meant she didn't know about it earlier. Thank you so much for taking the time to testify, Mr. the Killer. What is the meaning of that attitude? Ah, he's getting the classic Phoenix Wright sass. When Adrian Andrews entered the victim's room, your client had no idea that Juan Corrida had been murdered. But how? How do you know that? From this wine glass, Your Honor. The glass? Mr. the Killer's supposed client, through Mr. Corrida, had only fainted, which is why this glass of tomato juice was poured for the victim. But isn't that just a part of Adrian Andrews' calculated plan? That is not possible, Your Honor. This glass bears the fingerprints of that person. Had this been planned, they would never have left their fingerprints behind. I see your point, Mr. Edgeworth. What is your opinion? Strangely enough, I had the same exact thought just now. Witness, how do you explain this strange phenomenon? Isn't it a waste of time to ask about such a minor detail? It's not a very important point anyway, correct? I'm afraid you are mistaken. If Adrian Andrews really is your client, as you claim, then your client should have had knowledge of Mr. Corrida's death. If not, then that can only mean that Adrian Andrews was never your client at all. Possible that they learnt about the game this way, and then they realized there's a parrot, and when they've checked whether one has ever been involved in trial, it's true. That's all possible, yeah. It's actually so funny that one's been involved. It says another one's been involved in India, one in Argentina, but oh wait, maybe it is a long time ago. Wait. So the case happened in 1993, number one. So this game was probably inspired by the Michigan parrot court case. The judge didn't allow the parrot to testify. It was hearsay and inadmissible, which makes sense. So the parrot was not allowed to testify. So it didn't actually work. Because obviously not. So the judge, before, he wouldn't allow that. That makes sense. That makes a lot more sense than allowing the parrot to go. How strange. Yes. Why is it that the attorney has yet to raise an objection at this absurd situation? Phoenix, if the killer figures out what we're up to, then we're in real trouble. Yeah, I know. Mr. Edgeworth, I'm surprised. You know you can't say things like that without any evidence. Well, that was an awfully weak objection for the two of you. Yeah, this is clearly an abusive process. These two working together to get this guy guilty. This is not allowed. This goes against every legal ethics rule that the adversarial system has. It's terrible. It would never be allowed. Anyway, I am positive there was a contradiction in that testimony. I don't know if it would be illegal what they're doing, but they would definitely get disbarred after. The prosecution requests further testimony concerning when the request was taken. Very well. While we wait for the items the killer left behind to get here, I just know that the very outcome of this trial lies with those items. Okay. Well. This request came to me, about a week ago. It was a request for my services on the night of the award ceremony. We met at a certain bar to discuss and finalize a few matters. That's what occurred. I trust my memory, and I believe I have made no mistakes. Physically met Andrews. Okay. Describe her. Is that not the... Is that not the way to do it? Hey. Describe her. Point to... well, if he was on the stand, I'd say point to her. This request came to me, about a week ago. yeah, you're right, William. It could be argued that way, but other ways you could have done it. Yes, I'm quite sure. Oh, I of course had my own preparations, and I was barely able to finish. When you request my services, Mr. Attorney, I hope you will keep that in mind. In any case, my client this time had a very specific date and time in mind. Okay. Okay, met. I want to... So you physically met Adrian Andrews, right? Of course I did. Press further. Witness, I would like for you to give us a few more details. I always meet my clients as a matter of principle. I have never taken a request by telephone or mail. And why is that? That's because I value the trust between a client and myself above all else. And the only one to establish that is to speak to the client while looking them in the eye. Very important. If Mr. the Killer had met his client before the murder, then it's likely he is mistaken. I guess so. You see, it's just as I said. No, wait, that's not what I'm trying to say. It's not important? Is that what I'm supposed to say? Press further. Value the trust. Not important yet, he hasn't said it. Okay, I get it. Why he meets his clients is not important, that wasn't the point. Witness, please stop sidestepping my questions. What do you mean by that? My question was, did you really meet Adrian Andrews in person? I have already told you, Mr. Wright, I did. It was only through talking with him face to face that I began to trust him. Come on, the killer. Come on. Yeah, but William, he's not in it for the money. He's in it. He needs the trust of his clients. He would never. He would never. He's already been paid. He needs his reputation to be upheld. So only through talking with him face to face. That's when I thought I can trust this person as my client. It's true what they're saying, talking face to face. Very important. Your Honor, I believe the testimony just now was of the utmost importance. If that's the case, witness, please include the statement just now in your testimony. Very well. From the moment I saw him... Now we No! I think I accidentally presented. Fuck. Save so I don't die. But I'm pretty sure I have to present the Adrian Andrews profile because she's a woman. I would like to go over this one more time. You met Adrian Andrews at a bar and took the request at that time. Yes, that is correct. And that's when you thought he was a trustworthy... How many times must I repeat myself? Yes, that is correct. I'm sorry, but that is an impossible tale. What? Shelley the Killer. You have never met the real Adrian Andrews. Why would you say that? Because you made one very big slip up about her. So what is the issue? What did you just say now about her? If you had ever met Adrian Andrews in person, one look would have told you that she is a woman. Order, order in the court. Mr. Wright, what is the meaning of this? This witness testified to the following. That he always meets face to face with his clients when taking their request, but he has never met Adrian Andrews in person. Yes, Your Honor, that is exactly the point. That means Mr. DeKiller's clients could not have been a Miss Adrian Andrews. Mr. Edgeworth, I understand your logic on this one. However, why would the assassin make such a basic mistake? How is it sweating? I believe it has to do with her name, Your Honor. Her name? Yes, Adrian Andrews is without a doubt a very androgynous name. Unluckily for Mr. DeKiller, the entire time he was on the stand, no one had stated Adrian Andrews' gender. And so he simply picked the wrong gender to go with. I'd say Adrian is a male's name. Shelley DeKiller, this court demands an explanation. I think somehow I must have mixed up this client with another. So does that mean you remember something different now? Yes, of course. Please, if you would all allow me to testify once more. Very well, but this time please give us the truth and nothing but the truth. Sure. Yes, now I remember I took that request by mail. There have been times where I took the job without having met my client. The request was for the murder of Juan Corrida and 2 or 3 other small things. When I saw the name at the end of the letter, I thought my client might be Amanda. Okay, sure. But you said that you'd never do. So, how can we just do it? Alright. I know which one to press on. I want to know more. I want to know more about this. And why would you not meet certain clients? Recently, I have been receiving more requests. If I met each and every client, I would lose some nice business opportunities. On top of which, the times have changed. It is now the age of information and computers, correct? Well, I have joined the times and now take requests via electronic mail. Do you have to mail that in a special insulated envelope? I'm very sorry. I despise the shortening of words. What I meant by electronic mail is what is commonly referred to as an email. Anyway, so you took this job without having met your client and... Okay, that gave us nothing. 2 or 3 other small things. Yes. And what were these other things? A few other things that have nothing to do with this case. Press further. Gotta press further. Whether or not they're related, this case is for the court to decide. Mr. Attorney. Yes? Everything I have said from the beginning has been nothing but beneficial to your client. Which is why I wonder, what is pushing you to continue with this cross-examination? Could it be that you are planning to betray your own client? I smell the stench of a backstabber. And should you turn out to be one... Wait. Ooh, I don't like the idea of letting it go though. I don't like the idea. Witness is a very important matter. Please cooperate and tell us what these other jobs your client requested were. If it's truly that important, I suppose I don't have much of a choice. The bear figurine. After the assassination of the target, I was to find that figurine. I was told that this job was just as important as the actual killing. And where was that figurine? It was inside Mr. Corrida's suitcase. And then what did you do next? I handed it over to my client right away. You gave it to your client. Interesting. Witness, please include what you just stated in your testimony. As you wish. You gotta press on that. I found this figurine in Mr. Ongar's mansion. If you gave it to Miss Andrews, then what was it doing there? I was waiting for her there. That was also part of the plan, to frame Mr. Ungard, I'm sure. That makes a lot of sense. Well, Mr. Wright, there is a contradiction. Present evidence. You gave Miss Andrews the bear figurine, and she told you to take the bear and wait for her at the On-Guard mansion. Is that correct? Yes. Where are you going with this? Well, I think maybe you might have remembered a few things incorrectly. So, where's the photo of him handing it to them at the... Because what Will Powers said is that it was handed to them at the hotel. He saw it. Do I do the profile of Will Powers? Just show the bear? Fuck it. Fuck it. Tried to kill her. If you had really given the bear to Miss Andrews, then this item should not have been inside it. This item? I see where you're going. Yep, that's where I'm going. Okay, Judge. Your Honor, please think back to Miss Andrews' testimony. This is not where I was thinking. And I was going to burn it for her sake. If even for a single minute, this bear had actually been in Miss Andrews' hands, I'm sure she would have taken the suicide note out and burned it. So by the very fact that this suicide note was still inside the bear, it tells us that your client didn't know how to disassemble the puzzle. It means, Your Honor, that it is impossible for Adrian Andrews to be the client. Oh, it's a process. Mr. Phoenix Wright. I'm sure I mentioned this before. How I hate traitors above all else. I think your cross-examination has clearly demonstrated something to me. You must wish to break your end of our agreement. No, that's enough. If that is your intention, then there is only one thing left for me to do. Wait, please. Gentlemen, ladies, please excuse me. I have a matter that I must attend to.
Hold it!
Slam the table harder. Mr. Attorney, bring this trial to a speedy end, and I may stay my hand. Otherwise... Yes, Your Honor? I didn't understand this witness's outburst just now. Do you think there is a need to hear more testimony, or is this enough? Well, we should. The prosecution. What has come over everyone? Even you are. The prosecution rests. What is going on around here? The prosecution has no further questions, Your Honor. What? Well, I never thought I'd see the day. This is a most unusual situation. With the prosecution rest with no further questions, then the prosecution has failed to uphold its stance. If that is the case, then even though I am reluctant, I must believe that Mr. DeKiller testimony is accurate. That would mean that Shelley the killer's client is Adrian Andrews. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. If I end the trial here, right now, then your client, Matt Ungard, would be declared innocent. And in his place, Adrian Andrews would be charged with murder. I don't know if I can do that. The prosecution has no further questions, so we will now hear the defense's final remarks. Bailiff, please bring the defendant, Matt Ungard, to the stand. The items from the killer's hideout didn't make it in time. We tried as hard as we could, but it looks like our time has run out. The outcome now lies in your hands. I can't sacrifice Maya.
Dude, did the old guy finally decide?
To be honest, I can't think of you as a truly innocent and good person. You have done enough evil to drive a woman to suicide. But, at least on the charge of murder, it would appear you are innocent. Ha.
So I guess the old fuddy-duddy figured me out.
Mr. Ungard,
what an atrocious lawyer I have. Giving his own client up like this, and that refreshing like a breeze, spring breeze crap, it's just as atrocious, don't you agree? Anyway, get on with it and pronounce me innocent already. Right, Mr. Lawyer?
Psh, this bitch. I gotta go for Maya's life. Now then, Mr. Wright, let's hear the defense's final statements on this matter. The person who hired the assassin was Adrian Andrews. Then your client, Mr. Matt Ungard, is innocent. There's no need to ask, old man. After all, my client is going to say what I want, aren't you? Right. I can't count the evidence to help me anymore. I have to listen to my heart. My client, Matt Ungard, is... Me as a person, I value life above all else. So I cannot allow Maya to die. Not guilty. I cannot allow Maya to die. Miss Andrews, we can get out of prison later. I'll represent her on appeal. We are waiting for your answer, Mr. Wright. Matt Ungard, your client, deserves an answer. Francisca, welcome to court. What are you doing here? You see now, don't you, Mr. Phoenix Wright? This is exactly why you should never take your eyes off that scruffy fool. Did you bring them, the final pieces? Do you have them? You should know better than to ask that, Mr. Miles Edgeworth. Avon Karma is perfect in every way. The evidence is here in perfect condition. Don't worry about Scruffy, he's fine, and his injuries are minor. All of the items are inside this. That gumshoe, I can spot his tattered rags anywhere. I apologize for its ugliness, but there was nothing else to wrap these items in. I fought long and hard this whole trial, all for what is inside that raggedy coat. I'm sure that inside that coat lies a crucial piece of evidence. Your Honor, inside that filthy coat are the defense's final pieces of evidence. This trial is already over. All that remains is for me to hand down my verdict. I do not believe that any evidence presented now would change the outcome of this trial. What? Your Honor, it is our duty to examine every piece of evidence, down to the last. I request that Miss Von Karma be allowed to present these pieces of evidence. I suppose you are right, Mr. Edgeworth. I grant permission to do so. However, this one obvious rule applies. If these items do not bring up any new points, then they will not be accepted by this court. Now, Miss Von Karma, if you please. These pieces of evidence are items left by the killer during his escape from the police. He must have been in quite a rush. Yes, Your Honor. The killer left 3 pieces of evidence. There will be something that will turn this whole situation around like a miracle. I'm sure of it. The first item is a pistol. More details. Does that paper pistol have any relation to this case? We have yet to perform a ballistics test, so I cannot say anything for certain. However, I believe it has something to do with this case, at least with me. That's the pistol he used to shoot you, isn't it? That's what I believe, yes. I kept the bullets they removed from my shoulder as a sort of memento. I'm sure it will be an excellent sample for the test. It's probably not going to help us very much. Okay. Second is evidence videotape. Very important. Have you checked the contents of that tape? Unfortunately, there was no time to. Oh yeah. But I would speculate that this tape is very important. Why would you say that? Because he came back to his hideout for it. The killer went back for it? That's right. It looks like he was trying to recover it. He injured 3 of the officers at the site. But somehow it looks like they managed to protect it from the killer. Surely the killer is no ordinary man. Bellboy's uniform. More details not needed. Thank you very much, Miss Von Karma. I think that's enough. That is all I have to present, Your Honor. And what is that, Your Honor? I'm sure, were we under normal circumstances, these items from Shelley the Killer's hideout would be very important clues. However, our question is not who did the killing. It is who is the client. Yes, that is correct. And these 3 items do not tell us anything about that. Thank you for your hard work, Miss Von Karma. You may step down now. Wait, Your Honor. Please allow me to examine this new evidence. Overruled. This court already has... Wonderful. Absolutely splendid. This judge is such a brilliant man, isn't he? Is this the end? Phoenix. I knew it. There's no such thing as a miracle in this world, is there? I think you're wrong. I think they do exist. But you have to make that miracle happen. You've come this far. You can't give up now. But no matter how you think about it, it's try. For my sake, just think about it for a second. There are 2 ways out of the situation for us. The first, make Ungard wish from the bottom of his soul for a guilty verdict. The killer will always place his client's wishes first. If Ungard himself wishes to be convicted, then he will let his hostage go. That may be true, but that's asking me to do the impossible. The second way, force the killer to end his contract with Ungard. If the killer were to no longer think of Ungard as his client, then he would let Maya go. Mia, that's even more impossible. He's a man who values his duty towards his clients above all else. I know both of these seem like impossible feats at first, but if you could make either one happen, it would truly be a miracle. The bigger problem is, the pieces he was just shown, he's not accepting them. Phoenix, think through from the other side. Isn't that what has always worked for us? You mean to turn things around? Let me just save. And then let's see. The person who needs the evidence, the prosecution, who does not know the truth. Oh. Wait.
Objection!
I've already told you, Mr. Wright. This court does not need any more evidence. I'm not saying that it's us that needs the evidence, Your Honor. It's Shelley the killer. Yes, Your Honor. Please, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, for you to ask with such passion, I will grant you one chance. Please show your evidence to who you think is the right person. It's impossible to turn this situation around in one try. One try. That's all I will permit. Okay, if we're listening to Mia, then I need to show the evidence to to Shelley the killer. And that way, he will know that On Guard was setting him up, and then they'll hate each other. That's gonna be my plan anyways. Let's go. Wait, can I show him? Maybe I show the spy. So it's either the spy camera, the transmitter, the bear, or the videotape. I think I'm just gonna go with the videotape because it's one of the new ones. I think there's some merit in showing this evidence to that witness. Bailiff, please bring in the transceiver from before. Didn't I tell you to concern yourself with bringing about a speedy end to this trial? Now, if I understand correctly, you wish to show me one piece of evidence. Yes, one is all I need. I have here a videotape. It was found at your hideout. I heard you injured 3 officers in your attempt to get this back. That was most regrettable. However, it was an order from my client. I was told to protect that videotape. I'm afraid I seem to have failed in that regard. Do you know the contents of this tape? I was sternly told by my client not to watch it, so I have absolutely no idea. Actually, you are on this tape. Me? There was a video camera hidden at the crime scene. Your actions were being recorded. What? Is that true, Mr. Wright? Who was it that planted that camera? Well, the only person who could have placed a camera at the scene of the crime would be your client, naturally. That was Adrian Andrews. Be quiet and listen, Your Honor. Yes, sir. Your client specified a place and time for you, isn't that right? Yes. That was so they could film you. I had no idea. Mr. Wright, why would my client do such a thing? I would like to know why. There's only one reason why your client would secretly film the crime scene. Wanted blackmail on you. Your client once told me something very interesting. We were talking about you, and this is what they said. But I'm no weakling. I don't believe anyone. At least of all assassins. Oh, come now, Mr. Wright. Assassins aren't above blackmail. Yes, that's where the video comes in. With that, I can keep him at bay, even blackmail him if I want. Your client didn't trust you at all. They were thinking of using this video to blackmail you. What do you have to say to that, Shelley the Killer? It looks like I was being deceived from the very beginning. Yes, by a natural. That is the kind of person they are. Your client is a person who only thinks and plots of how to use the people around him to protect themselves from any and all dangers that may arise. That is the true nature of your client. I have one question for the witness. Yes. You told us one thing numerous times during your testimony. You said that you detest traitors most of all. Yes, that's right. What if that traitor was your own client? What would you do then? That's obvious. I would break our contract in that case. That client would become my next target. For the honor of the tequila name, even if it takes an eternity, I would follow that person to the ends of the earth to exact my punishment. Damn. I see, that's all I wanted to know. So the traitor becomes the killer's next target. Ah, I get it. That's how we'll turn this case around. Mr. Wright. Yes? My contract with my client is over as of now. I seem to have a new job on my hands. I will now return to you your precious item. I'm not an item. Yeah, we did it. We saved Maya. Woo! Saved her. This trial appears to have come to its conclusion. However, I actually am sort of... Miss Von Karma, where did that... She always has you in her sights. This is funny. Now I do believe it's time to finally hand down a verdict. Hey man, Mr. On Guard, it looks like somehow you got what you wanted. You will finally receive the acquittal you wanted so badly you should be happy. But before that, I would like to make one final statement. Sometime in the near future, one very betrayed assassin may appear before you. Needless to say, that man is very good at what he does. I'm sure you would understand what I mean if you watch this video. Help me. Now then, Your Honor, the verdict if you please. Is this alright with you, Mr. Wright? We finally reached the end of a very long battle. Whether he's convicted or acquitted, there is no escape for him now. Go on, Phoenix, plead whichever way your heart tells you. Plead guilty, the fucker. Even though I am a lawyer, I cannot make your crime disappear. I think a guilty verdict is appropriate here. My wonderful self, guilty? Even if you got an acquittal the instant you set foot outside the detention center, your life would be in danger. No matter which way you look at it, you can't run away from your crime anymore. Damn. Chill out on your face, man. Chill out. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Fuck. As always, it looks like we have uncovered the real truth. Mr. Edgeworth, how is Matt on guard? I have left Miss Von Karma in charge of his incarceration. I'm sure he's getting a full-course meal of whip leather right now. Very good. That was a close one, wasn't it, witness? Yes, I plan to pay my debt to society for my own crime, Your Honor. The first time I was called to the witness stand during this trial, all I felt was despair. She has an illness. Yeah, Edgeworth, you went too far, man. Too far. But after that, when I was alone at the detention center, that's the first time I really saw myself for who I am. And today, when the two of you used your combined strength to convict Matt,
Illegal once again.
I felt like I'd finally been saved. I'm really happy that you two were in charge of this case. I really don't know how to express how I feel at this moment. This is the first time I felt comfortable with myself, with who I am. Thank you so much, everyone.
You're welcome. I gotcha.
As for myself, there are still a few things I'm confused about, but everyone seems to be in good spirits, and that is good enough for me. That is all. This court is adjourned. Woo! You were great out there, Phoenix. What I did out there was right, wasn't it? This is the first time you've not gotten your client off. You've gotten them a guilty verdict this time. But you have to look past all of that to what's really important. You now realize that there is something more than just getting a not guilty, right? Yes, I understand now. Phoenix, think back for a second. Think to the moments before Ms. Von Karma arrived with the final pieces of evidence. Think about the incredible decision you had to make. Now then, Mr. Wright. I had to choose not guilty. I had to choose Maya's life. Is he guilty or is he not guilty? Those were your choices, and then your answer spoke to what being a lawyer means to you. Right, Edgeworth. I have good news. Maya is now safe in police custody. Yes, she's quite safe. She's on her way here as we speak in a patrol car. Nice. I believed in you. Yeah, now go home and get some sleep and be a child for once. About earlier, thanks. Why are you still smiling, Mr. Phoenix Wright? You lost. Your perfect win record has now been crushed. And yet you are still happy? I don't think you'll ever understand, Miss Von Karma. How dare you? Don't worry, she may in time. After all, I was like that myself until a year ago. For my own personal victories and for guilty verdicts. I used every dirty trick in the book, and so my win record remains spotless. But a man appeared and stood fast against that selfish me. I fought him in my usual manner and tasted my first defeat. I felt like I had lost everything because of that. And then it was my turn to sit in the defendant's chair. And I was saved by that person I called my enemy. So I left the prosecutor's office. And I left that note. Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth chooses death. Humph. As well as you should have. A prosecutor who has shamed himself with defeat should crawl into a hole and die. She lost too. We beat her. But was not what happened. After I left the prosecutor's office, I finally came to realize something. And it was that in that moment of clarity that everything began to change. What foolish nonsense. We prosecutors use anything we can to attack the defendant, but every time we did so... Oh, no matter how desperate the situation, instead of giving up like most people, that man would hold strong with his undying faith. And then, before I knew it, I began to trust in that man as well. What? You trusted your enemy? It doesn't matter how many underhanded tricks a person uses. The truth will always find a way to make itself known. The only thing we can do is fight with the knowledge we hold in everything we have, erasing the paradoxes one by one. It's never easy. We claw and scratch for every inch, but we will always eventually reach that one single truth. This I promise you. Damn. Okay. Yes, that's the reason why prosecutors and defense attorneys exist. But I'm sure you knew that already, didn't you, Wright? That's why you couldn't forgive me. This man who went into hiding, isn't that right? This man who only had his sights set on victory, who ran away into the night. You really let me down. When you disappeared, I felt betrayed. The reason I decided to become a lawyer to begin with was because I believed in the things you said to me all those years ago. And you betrayed your own words. That's why, 1 year ago, I made up my mind. I decided the Miles Edgeworth I knew had died. Okay. It's so dramatic that he told us he actually died at the beginning. Pfft, you pathetic fool. I don't want to hear the wretched whimpering of a disgraced loser. A von Karma is someone who is destined to be perfect. Miles Edgeworth, you are no longer worthy. You are no longer worthy of being a von Karma. And neither am I. It's over. It's all over. Electromagnetic receiver. I'll return this to the precinct later. A whip! Von Karma's whip? Whew. I'm sure that's what she's saying by this action. You should keep this, right? There's some truth to it because he did actually leave a note in the prosecutor's office where he said, yeah, choose death. Yeah, I guess. You're right. He did. You got me. Nick! Oh, Maya. Hello. The reunion. Woo! Oh, Nick, I knew you would come through. You got on guard convicted like I knew you would. And on top of that, you even rescued me. Well, of course I did. You know I would never desert you. But we sure pressed our luck this trial. You're really lucky to be standing here. Whatever. Look, it's over, okay? Besides, if I did croak, I would just come back and haunt you like a bad ghost through Pearly. Okay. Thanks a lot, Nick. Don't mention it. Maya. Oh, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm relieved you're alright. Hey, it looks like you've made some real progress, Mr. Edgeworth. Well, I suppose I'm a little different from who I was a year ago. Yeah, go get some fucking food, lady. Where are we going? Food, Nick. Food, grub, chow, I'm starved. I'm so hungry, even you look like a nice juicy burger on a bun to me. Come with us, Mr. Edgeworth, please. Our usual burger joint. The way of my gourmet food. Having another feast. Psh. Okay, sure. Hey pal, sorry to keep you guys waiting. Gumshoe, are you alright? Yeah, but I'm really embarrassed. I didn't think I would hit a telephone pole of all things. You did it again, city boy. I felt like my dear old heart was gonna give out on me, and I ain't joking.
Yeah, it was more exciting than the very last episode of the Steel Samurai. Thanks.
Now looky here, Mr. Snooty Prosecutor. You don't you reckon you bullied Mr. Wright too hard? If you don't start being a lot nicer to him, he might just kick it tonight even. I'll keep that in mind. Well, come on now, everyone, gather round. Y'all are gonna get your picture taken by a genuine professional photographer. Well, pal, at least we can put this messy case behind us now. Come on. Amen to that, pal. He's right. If it wasn't for the 3 items you took, I think this trial would have had a very different ending. Well, you know, it's huh, wait. That's odd. When I ran off with the things from the killer's hideout, I was sure I took 4 things in total, sir. What, 4? Yeah, I'm sure I put one of the items in my coat pocket. Oh, come on, y'all, it's over. But oh boy, I tell you, you really are something else. Never a dull moment with you, huh? You think? Were you scared? To keep my mind off things, I drew a picture. Sounds like you had it rough, gal. Where's this picture of yours? You know, I don't know where it went. Well, it's alright. It wasn't anything important anyways. Ah, that's Miss Von Karma's receiver. Oh, thanks to her, I had the most awful experience of my life, sir. I can't believe she stuck a tracking device on me. That's odd. Even though you're standing right here, tracking device seems to be in a different location. Oh, it's probably busted or something, sir. I'm afraid it's about time for me to excuse myself. I still have some work to do. Shh, I had fun tonight. Now if you'll excuse me. I just want to say thanks, Edgeworth. You really saved me out there. If anyone should be saying thanks, it should be me, right?
Take that!
Give him the whip. Thank you. It's all thanks to you two. You don't need to thank me. I was only doing my job. Hey, Mystic Maya. Going back to be lovey-dovey.
So who's paying for this lovely dinner party?
Everyone say thank you to Nick. Yeah, I'm kind of at the point where I can't even buy instant noodles, pal. Yeah, I just got me in a situation like that myself. There's this camera shop at this hotel, and I just bought myself this good old beauty here. It better be anyhow for $3,000. Actually, I reckon you bought it for me since it's on your tab and all. Oh, you don't need to hold it back now, you hear?
Objection!
Objection! As loud as he can. Woo! Pretty sweet. Oh, there we go. What? That's it. That's it. Pretty awesome. You were 13 minutes behind? That was a good story. I like that one. It was nice to do it all in one day. So I'll probably do episode 5 at some point. Not sure when. Just keep in touch. But thanks for watching, everybody. I appreciate you all for hanging out. William, you especially. Thanks for coming around. And I'll see you next time. Probably next week at some point. No, I think there's a 5th episode in the trilogy. The last game had it too. They did the 4 and then there was an extra 5th one. And I think this game has one too. But I could be wrong, NK. Could be the next game. Whatever the next episode is, I'm gonna do. Oh, this game doesn't. Okay, so it's the next game. Bye, thanks for hanging out, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Have a good rest of your Friday.